What if I tell you that there is a setting that you can turn off to get more frames without losing any quality in each and every single game? Well, it sounds too good to be true, right? But this setting really does exist, and it is called Vsync or vertical sync. So what Vsync does? Well, have you ever had this experience when you're playing a game and suddenly some frames looks like that it's been cut off in half and it looks really jaggy? Well, it is called screen tearing, and to combat that, Vsync was introduced. But the question is, why screen tearing happens in the first place? And to answer that, I think you all know that how graphics processing happens in your PC, right? Well, here's a quick recap if you don't. First, your CPU tells your GPU to render some frames, and after your GPU finished rendering those frames, it sends it to the monitor, and it happens very fast, 60 frames in each second fast if you need that many. But the problem starts to happen when your GPU produces more frames than your monitor can keep up. For an example, let's say you're playing a game and your GPU can output 100 frames in each second, but your monitor can only refresh 60 frames in each second, or in other words, your monitor is 60 Hz refresh rate. Your monitor gets overwhelmed and it out of sync some of the frames, so the chop off frames or the screen tearing happens. And to combat that, as I said, Vsync was introduced. It matches GPU's frame with the refresh rate of your monitor to fix any syncing issue. It works by limiting or buffering your game engines so that your monitor is being ready to output the next frame. Fancy way of saying a FPS limiter. But there are significant disadvantages of using Vsyncs, or when you are using Vsync, like the input latency. If you turn on Vsyncs on your game, then the key presses or the mouse clicks will be slightly delayed, and if you are playing a very response heavy game, something CSGO or like that, then that millisecond of difference can make your game or make you the winner or the loser team. And not only that, there are a big issue if you turn on Vsync. It is typically a FPS limiter. So when you are in a very intimidating or intensive scene or intensive portion of your game, your frames significantly, like there are huge spike frame drops happen if you turned on Vsync. But there are some other forms of Vsync in the market, like Nvidia's G-Sync and AMD's FreeSync, which helps to combat those issues. But the problem with those, they are monitor specific features. That means your monitor needs to have that feature, and typically those monitor cost a little bit more expensive than your typical without Vsync or without G-Sync FreeSync monitors. How many of you are watching this video, you're playing a game at your desired graphic settings and you are exceeding your monitor's FPS limit or the refresh rate by a huge margin? Like your monitor is 60 frames per second and you are getting 240, 300 FPS. And if you are one of them, I suggest you upgrade your monitor not to turn on Vsyncs. And if you ask me, to be honest, I turn off Vsync in every single game until and unless if I'm having screen tearing issue with each passing second, which really doesn't happen that much. Who doesn't love more FPS when your GPU can produce and your game is allowing you, but you are limiting that FPS to see on your eyeballs? And that's it for this one. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you don't, leave it a dislike. Feel free to do that. But remember, you will hurt me pretty fucking much. And if you want to watch more videos from us, check out this video right here. And if you want to subscribe, which I appreciate if you do that, well, do it by here. And there's Akash, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.